Today I'm back with the Ender 3 V2 and I have a few simple modifications for you guys to make your life that much easier with this printer and your printing experience that much better. But before we get started, I want to send a thank you out to Mech Solutions, that's mechestore.com. I'll put the link in the video description down below, and their contribution to this video, which was getting this printer in my hands in the first place. And if you missed the previous video on my adjustable Z end stop, check that out on my channel. Otherwise, let's get started. And so one of the things that has always bothered me about the Ender 3 V2 is the heated bed cable management. And so looking at the back of the machine in this model, there is no cable present on this 3D model. However, you can see the red parts which I've designed to address the issue. Now the Ender 3 V2 does come with a strain relief bracket that sits on the back of the print bed, but I find it's fairly inadequate in what it does. The bracket that comes with the machine sits on top of the print bed carriage plate, and I've highlighted that surface here, and so it sits between the bed leveling spring and that plate, and that means that that spring in that corner of the bed is more compressed than all of the other springs, assuming that your machine is all squared up and your print surface is trammed to the print head. And that could lead to some weird issues where having more force on the print bed in that one corner could lead to the print surface being just a little bit off. And we're trying to avoid that here. So the part that I designed sits underneath of that plate and gets out of the way of the spring. There are just a few other small and simple parts in this system. There's this top piece here which clamps down onto the heated bed cable that passes through that little window that you see here in the middle. And there's a bottom piece which is more or less just a rectangular piece, and so you can print this at different heights by adjusting the scale of the STL file that you can download. And what that's going to do is that is going to raise the surface of which the heated bed cable is being clamped down upon. And so you can see the height difference between the print bed and that surface that it gets clamped down on. And so depending on the height of your print bed, like I said, you can scale that piece. And finally, there's a piece at the back that constrains the cable coming from underneath of the printer, because sometimes in that area, the cable gets caught on the printer near the power switch, which can be a little bit concerning. The heated bed strain relief piece has two holes in it. So on the four corners of your print carriage, there are your holes for your bed leveling screws. Now one of those holes is going to get reused on the heated bed strain relief piece, but one of them, there is no existing hole. And I would highly suggest drilling a new hole, so 3 millimeters or about 1/8 of an inch, to clear an M3x10 screw. And then you got a nut on the other side, and that's going to keep this piece here from rotating. There are shoulders on this bracket to also help prevent this piece from rotating, even if you only had one screw in there, which would be the bed leveling screw that I'm pointing to. But that extra screw is just nice for a little bit of extra security to make sure there really is no stress or strain on your cable. And so the cable, like I said, is going to pass through that window. We're going to take that spacer block right now and I'm going to slip it into the bracket. And depending on your printer tolerances, this is a piece that you might have to play around with in your slicer to get it to fit and seat all the way to the bottom. Now, if you want it to sit higher, you would obviously adjust it upwards in the Z direction, so scale it up. And if you're having trouble seating it inside of the bracket, then you may want to scale it down a little bit in the X and Y. And now I'm just going to test fit the clamping piece. And so there's two chamfers on the corners, and that's for the zip ties. So those chamfers will face upwards. And again, depending on your printer tolerances, this is another piece you may have to adjust, but you want it to be a fairly snug fit, but it has to be able to slide downwards and clamp the cable in place. With the print bed carriage and the aluminum print bed installed back onto the machine, the heated cable will now pass through the bracket. And again, we can put this clamping piece on top and we can secure our zip tie into place. Now in this video, I did not cover the removal and reinstallation of the print bed, but it's fairly straightforward. If you just take a look at the print bed, you can see that it will come off by removing the 4 bed leveling screws. So just completely unwind the adjustment knobs and the print bed will pop off. And you can remove the print carriage plate by removing a couple of the V-wheels and undoing the Y-axis belt. And so it's all very straightforward, and you'll definitely be able to figure out just by looking at it. And just a friendly reminder at this point in the video, if you guys haven't already subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button below. At this point, you can see we have a much more secure strain relief bracket, and now we're going to be off to installing the second piece of this system, which complements the first. Looking at the back of the machine, we can see how the heated bed cable from Creality wants to naturally wrap around and towards the back of the machine towards the power switch, where it could get caught on the corner of the frame. This could lead to layer shifts on your print if it gets caught hard enough. Now my solution to this is to introduce this second bracket, and this is going to install using some M3 button head cap screws with some M3 T-nuts onto the aluminum extrusion at the back right corner of the printer. Once you get this piece fastened down with the T-nuts, then you're going to grab a couple zip ties, and there are channels inside of this piece that the zip ties will just simply push through. And once you push it through, then you can take your heated bed cable and you can insert it into the semicircular channel and clamp it down with the zip ties. This arrangement will now encourage the heated bed cable to assume more of a radius loop and prevent it from getting caught on the back corner of the printer. With that modification complete, let's now take a look at another deficiency in this printer, which I would like to address, and that is the filament routing path. This machine comes with a spool mount that mounts to the top of the frame, and the filament then comes down the side of the machine and enters into the extruder with a very sharp and tight radius. And this causes the filament to scrape along the edge of the opening on the side of the extruder. To increase the radius and to decrease the friction on the filament path, I've introduced this red part here along with that black wheel, which is a filament guide. This will act to gently guide the filament into the extruder and prevent the filament from scraping its way along the edge of the opening of the extruder. This assembly consists of 3 printed parts and 2 pieces of hardware. One is a bearing and the other is a number 10 screw that is a coarse thread. And so we are going to tap this hole in the center of this piece here for that 1024 screw. And the reason I'm using an imperial screw here is because with this bearing, it is the most snug fit. You could undersize the screw at an M4 if you need metric hardware, but you might find the bearing fit a little bit sloppy. The outer race of the bearing should fit snug within the 2 halves of these V-groove wheels, and so this part will snap together, and you may have to play with your printer tolerances to get a nice snap fit. Otherwise, you could alternatively use some super glue to make sure those 2 halves do not come apart. With that complete, you can install it now onto the bracket by using the number 1024 screw, and of course that is going to thread into the hole that you tapped. Be sure not to over tighten the screw as you don't want to damage the bearing, and in the end you should have a very free spinning wheel. To install this onto your machine, you're going to remove the single screw holding the V-wheel above your X-axis stepper motor. Then you're going to reuse that screw to secure the new filament guide into place, and that screw should be long enough such that it passes through the entire assembly and is able to fully thread through the nut on the other side. Now you can see when I reinsert a piece of filament, the filament path is much more ideal and it should not be dragging along the edge of the opening of the extruder. And so that's it for this video. Like I mentioned earlier, these modifications are very simple, but very effective. And if you want to find the files to download, you'll find them in the video description down below. I put a link down to Prusa Prints where I host all of my design files. So if you're looking for any files for all of my projects on YouTube, you'll find it there. It makes a big difference to me if you rate the file on Prusa Prints. So hit that like button on Prusa Prints, as well as give it a rating. Same here on YouTube. Please like this video and subscribe if you want to see more of this content, and I'll see you guys in another video.